So The Black Phone came out a little under a month ago as of the date that I'm filming this video, and I'm still really thinking about how much I really enjoyed The Black Phone, and I want to sit down here and give you guys a non-spoiler review of all my thoughts on The Black Phone, so I hope you guys enjoy. Going into this movie, I really didn't know that much about it, and I think that's one of the reasons why I loved it so much, because looking back, I researched some trailers and even looked at the synopsis, and a lot of stuff kind of spoiled some of my favorite elements of the movie. So I'm gonna save you guys. I'm not gonna read the synopsis. If you guys haven't seen the movie, I want you guys to go into it as vague as possible because there's a lot of really cool stuff that happens in this movie that I didn't expect. But before I get started giving you guys my thoughts on The Black Phone, let me know what you guys all thought about it down below if you've seen it, and let me know also if you're planning on watching this movie. And to the people who aren't planning on watching this movie, I hope this review convinces you to do so. But yeah, going into this movie, I knew that Ethan Hawke was in it, and it was really about kidnapping children. Like, that's really all I knew about it. And also I knew that Scott Derrickson was the director, which the duo of Scott Derrickson and Ethan Hawke together is really great to me, because if you guys didn't know, they were also a duo making the movie Sinister, and that's one of the scariest movies that I've ever seen ever, like still to this day. I really like that movie and I think it's a great movie, but I haven't rewatched it because I think it's really scary, and a lot of horror movies don't freak me out, so for me to say that Sinister was scary means something. So as this project was coming along and as the movie was about to be released, I was super excited because I was expecting something really great, and I'm happy that I got that with The Black Phone. First off, I want to say that I think this movie is scary. I don't think it's as scary as Sinister in my opinion, but I think there's a lot of scares to be had here, and I've only seen it the one time, but there's a couple of scenes that I'm still thinking of in my head. I think one of the reasons why I think this movie's so scary is because the topic around it is essentially children being kidnapped. What I really liked about the direction that this movie took is that the perspective of this movie is mostly focused on these kids, which I thought was a really awesome choice. Going into it, I really thought it was going to be a lot more about the bad guy, like Ethan Hawke with the mask. I think it's really easy to have a movie flop or not do as well, or not have the same emotion if you don't cast the right actors, but I think both of the main child actors did a really great job, and that's Mason Thames, who plays Finney, and Madeline McCraw, who plays Gwen. And I really liked Gwen's character in particular, but both of them are the stars of this movie, and I'm really happy that the movie just let them do their things because I think they were really good, and I'm excited to see what they do in the future. And Ethan Hawke too was very scary in this movie, and I really liked the direction that they took with the masks. It feels like the mask is its own character, and obviously we have a lot of masked killers, a lot of masked individuals in horror, and I think it was really refreshing to see this one because they made the mask its own character, and it had its own personality and a lot of like face changes to match the scenes, and it was really good. And a lot of the creepy factors of this movie are due to that mask and Ethan Hawke's like scary performance. And the thing about Ethan Hawke's performance too is that most of the times we don't even see him, like we are just seeing his mask, so they had to make sure that the mask had as much effect, but also like Ethan Hawke's body language. Like, I just think both of those things combined made a really great character and a really great performance in the movie. There's jump scares in this movie, and I'm very iffy on jump scares. I think jump scares sometimes are like a cheap way to like get you to feel scared, but they don't actually do anything, and a lot of the times it's just like they're there for absolutely no reason. But I think in this case, they got me, like actually made me jump in the movie theater, but two, it had a lot of effect and it was really cool. I also think one of the scary factors of this movie that I really liked was how they portrayed the 70s, because this movie takes place in the 70s, and by the way, I think they did a really great job in recreating the 70s and making it feel like the 70s vibes, both as like a production standpoint but also in editing. There's a lot of footage that we get that looks like authentic film footage, which was really great. It added to the vibe that it's the 70s, but also I feel like when people think of the 70s or the 80s or like those years in movies, a lot of the times they're portrayed with nostalgia and like positive, preppy, fun times, and I think in this movie I really like the approach that like, no, it was a pretty dark time for a lot of people, and even these kids going to school, like it's not a positive experience, and I think all of these dark elements combined just made the whole vibe feel very eerie, and I was really there for it because I think it just made everything a lot better. I also think when a movie establishes that like things are not okay in this town and there's a lot of bad things going on, not just things happening to our protagonist and antagonist. I think it makes everything so much scarier, and it gives you so much more anxiety and I think it also does a good job of placing the audience in the character's world. I also really like the editing. Like I talked about a few minutes ago, there's a couple moments where it's shot like an authentic film, and I like the way that's shown as well. But in general, for visuals and editing, I really liked how scenes were paralleled with each other in composition together. There's a lot of really cool visual stuff happening too. Overall, I think this movie is really good at like combining a lot of different genres in horror, and I think if you're a really big horror fan and you're a fan of certain types of like sub-genres, I think you're really gonna enjoy this movie. But the only thing that I didn't really like about this movie, and it wasn't something that really affected me like right after the movie ended, because when the credits rolled, I like thought to myself, oh no, this movie was great. It was awesome. And I still think that, obviously, based on my thoughts on this movie. But, like, thinking about the movie more, and the more I just, like, thought about, I guess, the logics of the world, there's certain things that are left unanswered. And I think that's gonna happen in a lot of movies. But in this one particularly, you know, I can't really get into it too much because I'm not talking about spoilers, but there's certain characters in this movie that I enjoyed them on screen. That had connections to other characters, but I was wondering like stuff about them. There's also some stuff that was ambiguous in my eyes, or I don't know if I should rewatch the movie to better understand certain elements around the Black Phone, but just certain things that, like, you know, weren't totally cleared up for me watching the movie. But again, it didn't really take away too much from the movie for me because I still think it's awesome, and who knows, maybe if I rewatch it I get a little bit more insight. But going back to my positives, I really liked the relationships established in this movie as well, especially with Gwen and Finney. I really loved seeing them the whole time, and I think the movie really made you care. At least it made me care, and I think that's one of the best things a horror movie could do, because it makes it even scarier when you really care about these characters on screen because you want them to make it out. You know, when scary stuff starts happening to them, you worry, and that's when you get scared and you get anxiety. And I just really liked that the movie took time at the beginning to develop characters, and even throughout the movie, even when they're separated, they do a really good job at bringing these characters together and just making it like a whole well-rounded movie. And I really enjoyed The Black Phone, and I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. I always love watching horror movies in the movie theater because they freak me out even more than watching it in my house. So if it's still playing around in your area, I highly recommend going to the movies to see it. Thank you guys so much for watching today's review. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you have seen The Black Phone, let me know what you thought about it down below if you haven't already, and make sure to like this video if you did enjoy it because it really helps out my channel. And if you aren't subscribed and this is your first time seeing one of my videos, make sure to subscribe if you did like this review, because a lot of more reviews and other movie related videos are coming. And yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll make sure to see you guys in the next video. Bye everyone!